Please continue, Congressman Rog.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So proceeding from that, Attorney Sanchez, would you say you had the same instance, the same procedure for the notarization of your document? So you prepared the statement, you signed it, tapos pinadala na lang po.
Your Honor, I signed it at the time that in front of the Chief of the Legal Affairs Division, Your Honor. I handed it over, Your Honor.
Okay, you signed it in front of the Chief of the Legal Affairs
Yes, Your
Division.
Honor.
Was Attorney Abella present?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I'd just like to have that procedural fact noted by the committee. Actually, I might be mistaken, but from my understanding, based on notarial rules, the affiant should actually sign the document in front of the notary. So it's just concerning po na they have that procedure in which they prepared the statement, they signed it, then pinadala na lang po. In fact, they admitted to the fact that the ID was just asked over the phone for the appointment of the notary. But to clarify po for the committee, this is not, unfortunately, this has become a practice sometimes for notarial services, and sometimes it's overlooked. However, what's important to stress and to bear in relation to the proceedings here is that Attorney Abella is not only notarizing a regular statement. This is a statement before this House. And aside from that, Attorney Abella's signature, Attorney Abella's notarization actually appears in other significant documents. I'm not sure if Attorney Sanchez would be aware, being Chief of Admin po ba and Finance. And I'm not sure if Ms. Villa Del Rey is aware also, being Chief of Accountant. But Attorney Abella's notarial stamp, notarial imprimatur, appears not only in their statements, which they have prepared, but has actually appeared in, I believe, the liquidation reports po ng OVP confidential funds. So it brings a question, kung magkakaroon po, the whole purpose of the notarial procedure is to verify as officers of the court to allow persons to execute statements under oath in a way. So the purpose of this is to preserve the integrity of the statements made. Now, if there's an issue regarding the procedural, if there are procedural lapses in the notarial services, then it puts into light the veracity, authenticity, and acceptability, admissibility of these documents. So what's stressing for me is that this isn't just only for the statements, which, don't get me wrong, Mr. Chair, this is important for us today because the statements that they'll be presenting is their official testimony to our questions here today, of course. But more importantly, the fact that the same Attorney Abella is the lawyer who notarized the OVP confidential fund certification, the DepEd. Sorry, Mr. Chair, Attorney Abella is in the office of the OVP. Tama po ba, Attorney Sanchez? May we clarify, since you're more familiar with Attorney Abella.
Attorney Sanchez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did she have a stint in the Department of Education?
I am not aware, Your Honor.
It's not your personal knowledge, but that's something for us to consider kasi nga po, her signature appears as the notarial, as the notary for the OVP confidential funds and the DepEd confidential fund certification, aside from the statements presented today. So I'm not sure, perhaps at the proper time, with the proper motion, should this committee deem wise, we might want to invite si Attorney Abella. Although this is not usual practice, I understand that in the courts, usually they would frown upon the act of having to present a notary as a witness. But given the fact that, for example, we can't even get the 9 OVP officials present, perhaps we can invite Attorney Abella, not only for her notarial stamp on the statements of Ms. Villa Del Rey and Attorney Sanchez, but also on the OVP confidential funds and DepEd confidential funds. This is just
Comsec, please take note of the manifestation of Congressman Gutierrez.
just a procedural concern. But with that out of the way, Mr. Chair, I'd like now to proceed with some preliminary questions for Ms. Villa Del Rey. So, Mr. Chair, Ms. Villa Del Rey, kayo po yung Chief Accountant ng Office of the Vice President.
Yes, Your Honor.
How long na po kayo sa OVP?
Your Honor, I've been in the OVP since 1990. During the last year of VP Laurel.
VP Laurel pa po. So you are a career public servant.
Yes, Your Honor.
So from 1990, that would put you now at 34 years of service po. And in your 34 years of service, may you just quickly give us a rundown? Kailan po kayo naging chief accountant?
I was employed in the OVP in 1990. I became an OIC I cannot recall, but I appointed chief accountant in 1998.
Oh, that's a quick rise po, no? From 1990 to 1998, kayo po yung naging chief accountant. So you have been the chief accountant for the OVP for how many administrations now po?
For at least seven po, 7 vice presidents.
And as the chief accountant, you are in charge of the accounting division, is that correct?
Tama po, Your Honor.
And part of your duties would include reviewing and processing the disbursements and liquidations of the OVP.
Tama po.
Before anything, I'd like to commend you for your long tenure of service. Maraming salamat po. Given that you're 6 administrations in, I'm pretty sure you are adept and an expert in your field. Given that you are, well experienced in your field, I'm sure you're familiar with yung tinatawag na government accounting manual. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you run down for the committee ano po yung requirements ng government accounting manual in relation to cash advances?
For the cash advances under the regular, Your Honor, there should be fund or allotment to cover the issuance of cash advance. There should be cash allocation. For the travel, Your Honor, hindi po required na banded siya, pero for activities, should be banded with the Bureau of the Treasury. There should be a special order designating special disbursing officer, Your Honor.
So for yung cash advances po natin, that in the yung GAM na sinasabi, this is the standards for accounting of the government, and this would apply generally to other agencies. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Would the GAM on the provisions on cash advances, would that also apply to confidential funds?
No, Your Honor.
And why is that po? What is the standard that you use for the for confidential funds?
For the confidential fund, Your Honor, it is covered by the Joint Circular 2015-01.
So, the same joint circular that if you've been following our committee hearings was cited by the ICFAO. Yun yung general basis po nila for confidential funds.
Tama po, Your Honor.
Are there provisions in the government accounting manual that would still suppletorily, in a way, apply to cash advances?
Wala po akong natatandaan, Your Honor.
Wala po.
Only the Joint Circular.
So there is no requirement that for cash advance for specific purpose or time-bound undertaking, that this should be recorded into the books of accounts as advances to special disbursing officers? Wala po kayong inonote na ganun po?
Can you repeat, Your Honor?
When you were talking of cash advances for specific purpose or a time-bound undertaking, I'm not sure, I'm not an accountant, but I think this is a very specific definition under the GAM. Tama po ba?
Apo.
Yeah, okay. So with that, do you record it in the books of accounts as advances to special disbursing officers?
Tama po, Your Honor.
So there are some provisions in the GAM that would apply. It's not purely in joint circular. Tama po ba? This is a procedure that's outlined in the GAM.
Tama po.
So suppletory naman pala po yung GAM, no? Nagagamit rin po siya even for confidential funds.
Possible po, Your Honor. Pero nakapokus po ako sa joint circular when it comes to confidential fund.
Okay. But do you recall recording yung advances ito to special disbursing officers? Yes, you do. And the relevant provisions actually for the GAM for confidential funds is Chapter 6, apparently. So the process of the cash advance, pagkatanggap po ng check, ini-encash po ito ng SDO. Tama po ba?